White House says that U.S. President Donald Trump did not initially know that his personal lawyer had paid $130,000 to adult film star Stormy Daniels, but he later learned about the payment. Trump in April said he did not know about that payment made by his lawyer Michael Cohen. However, on Wednesday, Rudy Giuliani, who has joined Trump's legal team, said that the president knew about the payment and had reimbursed Cohen. The father of a U.S. college student detained in North Korea said at the United Nations that he was trying to build a pathway that leads directly to Kim and his regime to force them to be answerable for their actions. Warmbier's son, Otto Warmbier, died at age 22 after being imprisoned in North Korea from January 2016 until he was returned to the United States in June 2017 in a coma. He died a few days later, and an Ohio coroner said that the cause was lack of oxygen and blood to the brain. His parents filed a lawsuit against North Korea late last month, which said that their son was brutally tortured and murdered. The White House said it is prepared to take measures against China's stationing of military equipment on islands in the South China Sea and its pointing of lasers at U.S. military aircraft. The White House says it has raised concerns directly with the Chinese about it, and there will be near-term and long-term consequences. One person died after a man opened fire at a mall in Nashville. The shooting occurred after a physical altercation between the shooter and victim, and police now have the suspected shooter in custody. Photos and videos shared on social media showed police entering the Opry Mills Mall with guns and emergency services on the parking lot. Former aide to John Bolton, Richard Grenell, was sworn in as the U.S. ambassador to Germany. U.S. Vice President Mike Pence administered the oath of office to Grenell, who is the highest-ranking openly gay official in the Trump administration. Grenell's partner, Matt Lashy, held the Bible used for the swearing-in ceremony. Grenell, who has been strongly critical of the Iran nuclear agreement, is a Republican foreign policy writer and commentator who was an aide to Trump's new national security advisor, John Bolton. A severe storm in Windthorst, Texas, ripped the roof of high school and damaged other structures as inclement weather hampered the region. On Thursday, water could be seen dripping into school's gym from a massive gash in the roof. Meteorologists say that hail and wind threaten northeast Texas, southeast Oklahoma, and central Arkansas. U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Paul Ryan said that the chamber's chaplain will remain in his position after he unexpectedly asked Reverend Patrick Conroy to resign 2 weeks ago, outraging some lawmakers and the priest himself. Conroy released a letter earlier on Thursday rescinding his abrupt resignation, which Ryan, a Catholic and the top Republican in the House, said that he had accepted. Conroy's last day had been scheduled for May 24th. Families of Central American migrants from a ragtag caravan that was criticized by U.S. President Donald Trump turned themselves into U.S. border authorities for their asylum request to be heard. At least 140 migrants of the caravan plan to apply for asylum. U.S. authorities have allowed in a few at a time since Monday, mostly women and children, through the San Ysidro port of entry into California, with much of the group camped near the crossing, still waiting for their entry. Heat wave has gripped Pakistan's southern port city of Karachi as the meteorological office warned temperatures would rise to 43 degrees Celsius. In view of the high temperature forecast, medical practitioners have advised the citizens to adopt certain precautionary measures. The city of Nawab Shah in southern Pakistan set a global record temperature for the month of April, with the mercury rising to 50.2 degrees Celsius on Monday. Chinese chipmaker Cambricon Technologies officially released the country's first artificial intelligence chip for cloud-based services in Shanghai. The peak processing power of the high-performing MLU-100 model is over 1.66 terabytes of fixed-point computing per second. The chip has a more complex structure compared with chips used in common terminals, according to Chen Tianji, CEO of Cambricon. Chile's President Sebastián Piñera proposed to remove the statute of limitations on sex crimes days after victims abused by a Catholic priest in Chile met with the Pope seeking retribution for the alleged crimes. Piñera called on Chile's Congress to act quickly in approving the bill, saying it would end impunity in cases that now have a statute of limitations that varies between 5 and 10 years, depending on the nature of the crime. President Nicolas Maduro scoffed at international criticism of Venezuela's upcoming May 20th vote, in which he is seeking re-election, and offered a prize for those who vote with a state-issued card. Venezuela's mainstream opposition is boycotting the election on the grounds it is rigged in favor of the 55-year-old socialist incumbent. The United States, European Union, and various Latin American neighbors have also slammed it as unfair. The head of the Basque regional government, Inigo Urkullu, said that it was an important day for the Basque country because separatist group ETA has stopped tormenting forever, speaking at a sports award ceremony in Biplao. He also referred to complete dismantlement of ETA, which said on Thursday it has ended all its activity, ending a 50-year campaign of violence across Spain in which it killed about 850 people. Former Mozambican guerrilla leader Afonso Dhlakama, who was due to run for the presidency next year, has died at the age of 65. The leader of the former rebel Mozambique National Resistance Movement was found dead in the central town, a party stronghold. There was no immediate confirmation of the state broadcaster's report, which gave no details of how he died. Tesla chief Elon Musk's refusal to answer boring Wall Street questions about finances sent the electric vehicle makers' shares down as much as 7% on Thursday, jarring investors and raising concerns about its ability to raise money in the future. Tesla's bonds followed the shares lower, and with at least 3 brokerages cutting price targets for the stock, several wondered what it would now cost the company to raise more funds this year if need be. Germany's Justice Minister has asked Facebook chief executive in a letter to be transparent with users by giving them more control, saying allegations of the improper use of data for millions of people is unacceptable. In her letter, she also called on Facebook to strictly implement privacy by default settings and to set up an internal mechanism to protect users from misuse by third parties like Cambridge Analytica. Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas has been re-elected as chairman of the Executive Committee of the Palestine Liberation Organization. Abbas's expected reappointment came at the end of a 4-day meeting by the Palestinian National Council in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank. The PNC chose a new executive committee, the most senior body of the PLO. Federal prosecutors in Detroit have unsealed charges against former Volkswagen chief executive Martin Winterkorn, accusing him of conspiring to mislead regulators about the German automaker's diesel emissions cheating. An indictment filed in secret in March was unsealed in U.S. District Court on Thursday, the same day as Volkswagen's annual meeting in Germany. Now, he resigned soon after the scandal over polluting vehicles in the United States became public in September 2015. The Lifetime Network biopic about the relationship between Britain's Prince Harry and American actress Meghan Markle premiered in Beverly Hills after being trailed nearly as long as the royal wedding itself. The television film stars Parisa Fitzhenley and Murray Fraser, who play Meghan and Harry respectively, turned out at the Peninsula Hotel to promote the film, which will eventually hit television screens on May 13th, 6 days before the wedding. The film will follow the couple's romance from the first time they locked eyes to when Harry got down on one knee. As Prince Harry's wedding to Meghan Markle inches closer, public hunger for all things royal will get its dessert as decades-old slices of cake from British royal weddings, including those of Prince Charles and Princess Diana and Prince William and Kate Middleton, are up for auction. The 5 cake slices from royal weddings are expected to fetch hundreds and perhaps thousands of dollars each next month, as at the sale in Las Vegas. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences expelled television's Bill Cosby and Oscar-winning director Roman Polanski as the Academy Awards presenter responded to misconduct allegations roiling Hollywood. Cosby and Polanski are the first known members expelled for violating a conduct code the Academy adopted in December following hundreds of accusations of sexual harassment or assault in the entertainment industry. The Academy said in a statement its board of governors met on Tuesday and voted to remove Cosby and Polanski. A Virginia judge has ruled that there is enough evidence to proceed with a felony drug case against actress and anti-sexual harassment activist Rose McGowan. McGowan is charged with having cocaine in a wallet she left on a plane at Washington International Airport in January 2017. She's one of the first women to accuse Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein of sexual harassment or sexual assault. Fashion label Chanel embarked on a fantasy journey to the French Riviera for their cruise collection show, constructing a giant steamboat and naming it La Posa in honor of Coco Chanel's own summer house. The audience included actresses Kristen Stewart, Margot Robbie, and Lily Rose Depp, daughter of Johnny Depp and Vanessa Paradis. They were taken on a visual voyage of nautical motifs, with creative director Karl Lagerfeld pushing the boat out to present an abundance of navy stripes and crop tops. Sequins adorned the majority of the outfits, including the berets that sat atop all the models' head, including those of sisters Bella and Gigi Hadid. The White House has given a thumbs up to last week's meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping, saying it was a good thing that the world leaders were getting along. After their informal summit meeting in China for 2 days, Modi and Xi agreed to improve communication over military and security matters. At least 108 people were killed as storms and heavy rain lashed swaths of Uttar Pradesh and Rajasthan on Wednesday night. Uttar Pradesh was the worst hit with 73 deaths. Officials said 90 people were injured while 134 domestic animals were killed in the state in New Delhi. The Home Ministry put the toll at 94 people, while the National Disaster Management Authority issued an advisory asking people to remain vigilant and to avoid travel for 2 days in the affected areas. The GST Council will convene its 27th meeting today. Indian Finance Minister Arun Jaitley chaired council, comprising state finance ministers will meet through video conferencing. The meeting comes at a time when goods and services tax collections achieved its record high by exceeding rupees 1 lakh crore milestone in April. Among other things, the council will consider introduction of simplified tax return form and also decide on proposal for converting GST network into a government company.